And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to Oklahoma Sportscene in this first week of October. Take a look at the AP College Football poll just released. The Oklahoma Sooners are on the move up 2 spots, number 7 to number 5. That's with an open date. And the star quarterback, injured out for a few weeks in the season here. And here's the college football poll. At the top, Ohio State ruling no with 46 first-place votes. Oregon has jumped up to second with 10 first-place votes. The other 4 first-place votes went to Miami. They're number 3. Ole Miss 4, and Oklahoma is 5th. Then it's Texas A&M, Penn State, Indiana, and Texas. Rounding out the top 10, Alabama. Second 10, Texas Tech, Georgia, LSU, Iowa State, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, Florida State, Missouri. Number 20 is Michigan, then Notre Dame, Illinois, BYU, Virginia, and Arizona State. To recap the Saturday action for you now, starting with Notre Dame crushing Arkansas 56-13 after that embarrassing loss in Fayetteville by 43 points. The university fired head coach Sam Pittman in his 6th season with a 32-34 record. Baylor beat Oklahoma State 45-27. OSU showed some signs of life on the offensive side of the football, though, but there's too much to overcome. Doug Beacham, the interim head coach, has already started the work. He's already fired his defensive coordinator and 2 defensive staff assistants on the OSU team. Tulane beat Tulsa 31-14. Tulane is favored to win the American Athletic Conference. Tulsa gave a battle for a while, but Tulane just too much. Oklahoma had the open date. Here's the Big Four schedule for this week 6. Starting on Saturday, October the 4th, Oklahoma State will be playing at Arizona. It's a 2 p.m. kick on TNT. Then Oklahoma hosts Kent State, SEC Network. The Sooners are 42.5-point favorite. Tulsa is at Memphis, the nightcap, 7 p.m. That's on ESPNU. And Arkansas has an open date, and they need it. Okay, here's our guest list now for this week on the Oklahoma Sports Scene. We'll start with Bill Haisten, senior sports columnist at Tulsa World. The inside story on what happened to Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State, who made it happen, about the big $15 million payoff. Will he get all the money? David Briggs, Toledo Blade columnist, has a great story about where all the money is in college football, the Big Ten or the SEC. I think you'd like that. Michael Knight, Prep Redzone, of course, has a recap of high school football with week 1 of district play. The Bixby Spartans, number 1 in the nation now. Tulsa Oilers start their hockey season with a preseason games coming up. We'll have talked to their head hockey coach, Rob Murray, get all the inside of hockey for the Oilers 2025-26. And Dale Day has a recap of the big Oklahoma Derby, the richest silver race in the state of Oklahoma. All that coming up right here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. But first, our hot topics of the week. The 2025 6-month, 162-game regular Major League Baseball season started back on March the 27th, ended finally this past Sunday, September 28th. Here are the playoffs now starting. This is the wild card series this week. In the National League, Milwaukee Brewers won the NL Central. Best record in baseball, 97-65. The Cubs and the Reds made the wild card playoffs. LA Dodgers, defending world champions, the best in the West, 93 wins, followed by San Diego. Making the postseason of the NFL East, just one team, the team that won the division, the Philadelphia Phillies. The American League, Toronto and the Yankees tied for the best record, 94-68. Best in the East, Boston got the wild card spot. In the Central, it's Cleveland and Detroit Tigers. Seattle, the only team out of the American West. FC Tulsa soccer team, unbeaten streak came to an end last Saturday night, and the Western Conference leaders fell 2-1 at Indy 11 in Indianapolis. That despite a late push capped by Boubacar Diallo's 80th goal. FC Tulsa returns to One Oak Field this Saturday, October the 4th at 7 o'clock. They'll be taking on the Lexington team, college homecoming night. Playoffs already locked in, so Tulsa is looking forward to getting back on the winning ways. We return to Oklahoma Sports Scene. Tulsa World Sports columnist Bill Haisten joins us with a real inside story on Oklahoma State football program and the firing of Mike Gundy. That's straight ahead.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
The We Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The We Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. We Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park is underway with great winning action Thursday through Saturday at 6 p.m. The top Oklahoma bred runners are in the spotlight for Oklahoma Classics Night, Friday, October 17. The $1 Million Night of Stakes Racing features the best the state has to offer. The first race on Oklahoma Classics Night is 6 p.m. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations. The best racing, simulcast racing, and nonstop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Tulsa, there is nothing better than summer vibes at the ballpark with your Tulsa Drillers, sipping on a cold beer, eating a hot dog, and having a great time with family and friends. The hope of catching a home run ball or running into everyone's favorite blue bowl, Hornsby. Cool off by grabbing an ice cream or playing in the Red Diamond Splash Pad. One Oak Field has something for everyone. Tickets start at only $10. Purchase now at TulsaDrillers.com. Go all in and we'll see you at the ballpark soon.
Tulsa Row veteran sports columnist Bill Haisten joins us now. Nobody's been more inside the OSU program over the last several decades, and as Bill Haisten, close with Mike Gundy as well. So, Bill, we know what happened. How did it happen? Who made it happen?
Who made it happen? Great question. Why did it happen? I just think it was a point that after the Tulsa game, combined with the Oregon disaster 2 weeks earlier, that there was just a collective sense of enough is enough. And so there was the decision made over that weekend after the Tulsa game, Chris. And I presume I've never gotten total clarity on who made the call, except I'm confident it came from the regents, and there was the agreement from the president's office that trickled down to Chad Weiberg to make this happen. And so it happened a week ago or last Tuesday. And I guess the best way I could put it, if this makes any sense at all, is that it was shocking, but not surprising, if that makes any sense.
Well, is he going to get the entire $15 million buyout? What's the story on that?
Oh, yeah. Yes, he will. Wow. In fact, I feel like, and Chad said it at the presser the next day. I'm sorry, that very day, actually. He said that they did not approach any donors for any of that money. So my guess is, and it's an educated guess, is that they have a reserve fund, the university does, and they pulled that 15 mil from that now, or they will pull that 15 mil. I don't know what the payment structure looks like yet. I don't know if they'll do for Mike what they did for Travis Ford, which was they structured it in a way that was very tax friendly, where he didn't get Coach Ford, Travis Ford didn't get hit so hard by the taxes on it. I don't know about that piece of it yet. We're still less than a week removed from that, so there's a lot of unanswered questions on that part of it. But yeah, Oklahoma State had the money. And Mike will receive the entirety of that $15 million.
Michael, you and I have been covering college football for a long time. You ever seen a year like this where so many coaches, top job coaches, in the first quarter of the season have been fired? Deshaun Foster at UCLA, Brent Pry at Virginia Tech with a $6 million buyout. Now goes just today, Sam Pittman with a $9.8 million buyout, and Mike Gundy at $15 million buyout.
Well, yeah, there was a season 22 years ago, something like that, where it was an astonishing turnover in college football. At that time, there were only maybe 118 FBS schools, and it felt like almost 30 jobs changed hands. I just remember it being historic. So are we on our way to that kind of a turnover total, I don't know. But if there's that much movement in September, I would think, yeah, by the end of the season or by Christmas, you'll see a lot more. I just didn't think Oklahoma State would do it in season.
Yeah.
For that matter, I'm not sure. I thought maybe if it was going to happen in season to one of these situations around us, it would happen at Fayetteville, perhaps, because you probably remember, Chris, in 91, Arkansas loses to the Citadel in the opener, and Jack Crow gets fired the next day. That was the opening game of the season of that, I think, the 91 season. So, but at Oklahoma State, I thought because Mike Gundy had a 35-year relationship with the football program as a quarterback, an assistant, a coordinator, and a head coach, that while there might have been an understanding that there would not be another season beyond this one, that they certainly wouldn't fire him after 3 games. But, Oregon was terrible. Losing at home to Tulsa for the first time in 74 years was an embarrassment for a lot of Oklahoma State people. And so they've done what I, in a sense, predicted. I mean, I predicted in January and again in August in columns for the Tulsa World that this would be Mike's final season.
Yeah.
But Chris, the reason I felt that way was because they came out of last season. Mike was angry at the school. The school was angry at Mike. Mike had made the misstep in November last year where he criticized fans.
Yeah.
The regents met in December to discuss his employment status. Mike had to take a pay cut, on and on and on and on, right?
Yeah.
And it just felt like there's too much animosity here for this to go well. And then you have to rebuild your roster and you have an entirely new staff. It just felt like it was doomed months ago. Forget more recently than that, but it just felt like it wasn't going to work, and it didn't. And so now it's a sad, weird way for the Mike Gundy era to end. And Mike told me in last year in November, after they lost at home to Texas Tech, he said, I ain't going out this way.
Yeah.
And yet here we go. 3 games into his 21st season as a head coach, and he's out.
Take a look real quickly at the recap of this past week. Arkansas got hammered by Notre Dame, which led to his being 56-13. Oklahoma State, I thought, showed some signs of life there, and Doug Meacham then looks like he's taken over. He's fired defensive coordinator after that game. And then Tulsa battled Tulane, but Tulane withstood the hurricane grab there. Of course,
Yeah. Well, Tulane's a lot better than Oklahoma State. So I knew that was going to be a difficult game for Tulsa coming out of the Oklahoma State game. And, it's human nature to maybe feel a little bit of a hangover, I guess, after winning a big game like Tulsa did. But no matter where that game was played, Tulsa, Tulane, no matter the circumstances or what preceded it or whatever, Tulane's really good. Really, really good, and they're better than Tulsa. And they played that game played out about as I would have expected. Over in Stillwater, what I saw from the offense was refreshing, energetic, imaginative, some trickery on play calls. So I mean that team had scored only 4 touchdowns all season before the other day. And so Doug Meacham, I thought his message in the post game was perfect. I thought it was very clear that his energy, that the offensive side of the program used that energy and had a better day.
Yeah.
But defensively, Oklahoma State is horrific. And their pass coverages were some of the most incredible busts on coverage that I've seen in a long time. And so, like you said, Todd Grantham is out as the defensive coordinator yesterday, Sunday. It's, there's going to be a complete rebuild of the Oklahoma State program. And it started with Mike and it continued with Todd Grantham. And so we've got 8 more games to see what it looks like.
Give us your letter grades then. Let's start with Oklahoma State. The letter grade for the game?
On the whole, I mean, I give them an F because they lost at home. But I would give the offense a B-. There was effort. There was they ran the ball a little better than they've been running it. Zane Flores made a couple of real impressive, he would extend the play or make adjustments in the pocket. So at least you saw a pulse, or you sensed a pulse from the offensive side. But I mean, if you lose, we're not talking about Ohio State or Oregon here. I mean, this is Baylor, and you're at home, and you lose by 18. It's an F.
And how about Tulsa?
Well, I mean, Tulsa is rebuilding from, the last couple of years were rough on that program. So Trey Lamb's inheritance was kind of a broken inheritance to begin with. He had a good recruiting class. He did some good things in the portal. But you lost Kirk Francis a couple of weeks ago to an injury, the quarterback. Baylor Hayes is a nice athletic kid. But I mean, Tulane, I can't say about Tulsa what I said about Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State should win a home game at Boone Pickens Stadium. I don't care who they're playing, unless it's a top 15 type. Right now, even Oklahoma State should beat a Baylor on its home field. And Oklahoma State was competitive, but got beat by 18 at home. But Tulsa, even on its home field, is not on Tulane's level with personnel. Not yet. Yeah. And so I would give Tulsa a C-.
Hi, Bill. Thanks for joining us as always this week. And we'll look forward to
Please forgive my attire. I'm about to go to a football practice, and I'm a little sloppy here, but I'm ready for, you know what I'm ready for? Let's get back to that cool weather we had 2 weeks.
Oh, is that the truth?
Let's do that.
I feel good. Thank you, Bill. We're going to come right back, by the way. And so which football conference is the best, SEC or Big Ten? Follow the money of that story coming up next.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit, so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaWhalers.com. That's TulsaWhalers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now, starting at only $19 per month. TulsaWhalers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Whalers hockey.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
It's a real pleasure to be joined by David Briggs, the sports columnist of Toledo Blade. David, I always enjoyed your column. My good friend Michael Crispin, a big Buckeye fan, keeps sending them on to me online and stuff. And even had your finger on the pulse of things up in Big Ten country. And of course, everybody battling the Big Ten, SEC. Which one's the best? How's your football season going so far?
Good. Just it's interesting. We're in one of the more interesting parts of the country, right in the kind of the heart of the rivalry land between Toledo, Bowling Green, and of course Ohio State and Michigan, right on the front lines here. So it's been fun so far. Absolutely.
Yeah. What's your background there at the Blade?
Well, I went to Ohio State, then I actually went out to Columbia, Missouri, cover the Missouri Tigers for 4 years, and then I've been at the Toledo Blade for the last 14 years. Started off covering just Ohio State football, then moved into a columnist role, so cover all of our schools and certainly a lot of Ohio State and Michigan.
Well, I was intrigued by your column, Follow the Money. If Michigan lost the Battle of Norman, which they did to OU 24-13 with the new freshman phenom quarterback, Underwood playing his first game there, which you pointed out to buy a lot of things you can't buy experience. But heck of a contest, two great schools getting together. But you made a real point of the real difference between the Big Ten and the SEC when it comes to NIL money in the portal league. Big Ten seems to have a real advantage now.
Yeah, it's interesting, and Nick Saban made the point on game day, I believe, that the Big Ten kind of has this old money generational wealth, and in terms of just the monster donors, I think he pointed out the quote unquote there is old fashioned wealth in Texas with the oil money at Texas and Texas A&M, but when you look at the traditional powers like Alabama and Auburn, you have big donors that the car dealers and the businessmen and those tens of thousands of dollars might have been big money in the old era, but now that you're talking tens of millions of dollars with NIL, and it's the Big Ten just has more of that big money. You look at Oregon with Phil Knight, and Ohio State with Les Wexner, and Penn State has billionaires, and Michigan especially was the interesting case study. Um, Larry Ellison just crowned the richest man in the world. His sixth wife is a 2012 Michigan grad. He had no connection to Michigan, and his sixth wife is a Michigan grad. So to keep the wife happy, he's funding a lot of their NIL. He was kind of the guy who helped close the deal to get Bryce Underwood, who you just mentioned, the five-star number one quarterback in the country. He was committed to LSU, but they just kind of money whipped him back to keep him home in Michigan. And then you have there's Michigan. Michigan has, I believe, like four alums who are the top 50 richest people in the world. So I just think it's interesting. You look at the SEC's advantage has always kind of been, or at least in the last 25 years, just the Sun Belt population trends. There's more elite talent in the backyards of the SEC. Florida, Texas, Louisiana, Georgia. That's where the talent is. You still have Ohio, but the talent's not in the Midwest. And that's the big reason the SEC has been able to dominate the Big Ten the last generation. They have the talent, but in the new game, if the Big Ten has more money, maybe they can kind of offset the geographic disadvantage with just pure money. And we're starting to see that a little bit with Michigan wins the national title in 23. Ohio State wins it last year, and you look again this year. Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, they're right at the top, and Michigan's kind of right there too. So just kind of a little bit of a changing dynamic, and the Big Ten's probably made for this new era.
David Briggs, sports columnist, the Toledo Blade, a former Mizzou guy, and I was a Mizzou man myself, David, so MIZ, buddy. But I'm interested too. You pointed out that the Big Ten with 18 schools now. Nobody's numerically correct anymore, but 18 schools in the Big Ten. Of that, they count 16 in the top 100 schools, 7 of the top 10 schools with the most living alumni, and Michigan has 52,000 plus students. The rich alumni you mentioned, the former Oracle, the Oracle owner, Larry Ellison, the richest man in the world. And you also named a couple other guys. The second richest man in the world, according to Forbes, was Michigan's Google co-founder Larry Page, sixth richest man. The Dolphins owner Stephen Ross, the 44th richest man. So Wolverines have quite a lineup there.
Yeah, yeah, and like you mentioned with those rankings, the Big Ten, SEC has a lot of great schools, but you look at the numbers. I think six, like you said, these are Big Ten are massive schools with elite, academic reputations. So you have a huge pool of potential donors. Yeah, like you mentioned, 16 of the 18 schools in the Big Ten are ranked among the top 100 universities, according to U.S. News and World Report. Just 5 of the schools in the SEC are in the top 100. And again, there's nobody wants to get into bragging about academics. But when it matters on the football field, you can see where it would. I mean, again, they just have the bigger pool of big fish donors, and for better or worse in this new era, you can kind of, we're seeing it at Texas Tech, you can kind of buy yourself a hell of a program pretty quickly.
Well, the Big Ten now getting into some serious conference play, and give us an update now. I know Penn State getting a lot of support, but all I know is the Indy Lions are 0-7 against Ohio State and Michigan. Haven't won the big one yet. Ohio State, of course, won the championship last year, but have lost 4-0 to Michigan. That's not a great formula, no matter what you do at Ohio State.
Right. Yeah. The Big Ten. It's going to be fascinating. I mean, Ohio State is always the Michigan game has always meant everything to them, and four straight losses kind of, as you know, cranked up the heat on Ryan Day. He kind of, I believe if they had lost that Tennessee game at home in the playoffs last year, that was probably his last game at Ohio State. Then they go on that remarkable 4-game run in the playoffs, and his popular approval rating is back at 95%. There's still that 5% that says you can't beat Michigan, we don't want you. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend making that a regular occurrence, just for kind of the mood in Columbus. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of anybody's game in the Big Ten this year. Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State. Oregon and Penn State obviously are playing, later this month in Happy Valley. Ohio State looks to have a elite defense. They probably have arguably the two best players in the country, offensively Jeremiah Smith, and defensively Caleb Downs, the transfer from Alabama, who's just absolutely electric. Penn State has everybody coming back, but again, it's everybody coming back from a team that hasn't really been able to get over the hump with top 5 wins, or Ohio State. And then Oregon just kind of is that big money program that we're kind of talking about, that just keeps reloading. So those are certainly and heck, God, I can't forget to mention Indiana. We kind of thought Illinois was going to be the Indiana of 2025, but Indiana's clearly still that. Kurt Cignetti kind of takes everything to heart, and just the chip on their shoulder combined with just their gains in the portal and just the coaching of Cignetti is unbelievable. So it kind of seems like a 4-team race now, but Michigan's lurking there. So we'll see. Should be a fun run here.
Well, David, thanks for taking the time to join us. It's been great to visit with you and finally meet the person behind all the columns who do great work. And I'll tell my buddy Michael Chrisman, I'll give you a shout out on OH. He always throws that at me too. So
I appreciate it, Chris. Thank you.
Season, and hopefully we'll meet one of those Big Ten teams in the championship playoffs somewhere.
Absolutely. Should be fun. Appreciate you.
David Briggs, the sports columnist, the Toledo Blade, and coming to the Big Ten and giving an idea of why the Big Ten is number one right now. A lot of big money up in the Big Ten. Right back to more on Oklahoma Sports Scene after this time out.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaWhalers.com. That's TulsaWhalers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaWhalers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Whalers hockey.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit, so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
We're back on Oklahoma Sportscene. Time for high school football recap with, of course, Michael Knight of PrepRedzone.com. Michael, what games did you cover in the Charlotte District play this past week?
Yeah, I went up to the Grand Lake area to watch Adair hosting Salina, 2 top 5 teams in Class 2A2. It turned into an absolute slugfest. Very physical football game. Adair was able to get the win. They've won a lot of regular season games over the last several years, but they're still looking to have that success in the playoffs. And in that class, Davis and Vian are the top 2 teams, but Davis lost in an overtime stunner last week. So Adair perhaps with a better path to make it to the state championship game and possibly contend for that gold ball. But both teams playing really well. And then we also had video coverage of the big matchup in 6A1 with Bixby going on the road to take down Jinx. And what a game that was. A complete opposite of the game I was at. It was a slugfest from the start. But over in Jinx, there were plenty of fireworks.
Sure, I was there along with Thomas Walkingstick and your colleague covering that for us there. But yeah, what a start. Jinx jumped out to a 21-8 lead. They led at the half over Bixby, 38-35, and then the Spartans started rolling 35-0. They outscored Jinx in the second half. That's the 2 teams that have won 28 state championships between them, 18 for Jinx, 10 for Bixby. In fact, we just got to notice, right, that Bixby is now ranked number 1 in the nation in high school football.
Yeah, at least 1 national rankings, which I'm always like, let's pump the brakes a little bit on national rankings, because how can you tell? How can you compare a Florida team to a California team and anywhere in between? But it's very cool. It's a very cool thing. It's a very cool recognition for what Lauren Montgomery and the Bixby Spartans have built. And they're very good. I mean, I've sat here on this show many times over the last several years talking about how we don't talk about Bixby enough, and I feel like we've talked about him every single week. So that tells you what I think about the Spartans. But they are perhaps his best team. And when I say his best team, we should just throw it out. It might be the best team in school history, and one of the best in state history. But there's a lot of football left to be played. But Jinx really pushed Bixby for 2 quarters, but it wasn't enough. And you look at that final score and you think, man, Bixby, they might not be stopped this year.
In fact, Bixby, since 2018, this is just incredible, Michael. Their record, 89 wins against only 4 defeats. Just incredible. All right, some other big games in Star District play. Let's talk about Owasso and Broken Arrow.
Yeah, big game, kind of close, similar to the Jinx Bixby game, but a more low scoring. That game was close in the first half, but Owasso was able to run away with it. I don't know if I've talked about this kid on this show, but Jaden Hall, their senior running back for Owasso, more people need to start talking about him because he is an absolute workhorse, and he showed that in the win over Broken Arrow. He had over 30 carries for over 200 yards and a couple touchdowns. You started to see him turn the corner last season and become that dominant ball carrier for Owasso, and he's carried it over this season. In my opinion, he's one of the best running backs in the state, and he showed why in that win over Broken Arrow.
And Owasso did win 28-14. Hey, Coach Antonio Graham got his first win as a Union head football coach.
Yeah, you probably didn't think it was going to come in week 4, before the season started. But look, Union, they're still trying to figure out their identity and, getting that first win under your belt. Hopefully that builds some momentum. They're going to need it this week because they face the Owasso Rams in week 5. So it's not an easy schedule. But a big win for Coach Graham and, big win as far as momentum, hopefully, for the Red Hawks moving forward.
Outside of the western side of the state, big game 6A1, Norman North and Edmond Memorial went to overtime.
Yeah, Edmond Memorial had that game won for almost all 4 quarters until they didn't. They led by 21 points in the 4th quarter. They let it slip away. Game goes into overtime. Norman North able to pull out a huge win over the Bulldogs on the road. Norman North, their running back, Byron Mason, he's an emerging star that not a lot of people know about yet, but he's having a really good season. And Friday night's win over Edmond Memorial was a good example of just how special and dynamic he can be on the football field.
5A, number 2, Del City, beating Collinsville 24-21, last second field goal.
Yeah, last year it was not close. 61-10, Del City beat Collinsville. This year it went down to the final seconds. So, what a difference a year makes. What a difference Scott Rigby makes for Collinsville, their star running back. He didn't play in the game last year. He played in it this year, had a good performance. And yeah, it goes down to the wire, but Del City getting a huge win in the district opener.
And Fort Gibson ended Wagner's 18-game district win streak, winning 47-25, the first win over the Bulldogs since 2014 for Fort Gibson in 4A.
Yeah, Fort Gibson, they're a team on the rise for sure. And for Wagner, similar to Union, they're still trying to figure out their new identity under a first-year head coach. It's not easy to replace a guy like Dale Condit. And for Union, not easy to replace a guy like Kirk Frederick. So teams that have first-year head coaches still trying to figure out what their identity is going to be moving forward.
And 2A, talk about a kind of a surprise. Defending state champion Davis went down.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier with the Adair. Things in 2A2 look a little different this week than they did at this time last week. Defending champ Davis, number 1 in class 2A2, they get upset in overtime by Dibble. So that class looks way more interesting than it did even 7 days ago. That was one of the games, Chris, in my opinion, when I look back at week 4, that was, in my opinion, the biggest stunner. Every other game kind of, played out the way I thought it might. Norman North getting the win was a little surprising, but Dibble beating Davis, that was definitely a surprise, simply because you're talking about the defending champs going down to an unranked team.
Quickly, Michael, your thought on some Oklahoma State football players, with Mike Gundy's being fired, decommitting, including, of course, this best running back in the state, Katie Jones, Aiden Martin of Berry Hill, and Trey McLaughlin of Bixby, all decommitting, leaving the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's tough because Oklahoma State did a really good job with this class, building up the 2026 class in state with a lot of the top prospects committing to OSU, led by Katie Jones. What happens next is a big question. I think a lot of it depends on who they hire. It's not out of the realm of possibilities that these guys end up in Stillwater, but yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow. But one, when you make the decision to fire your head coach, you got to kind of anticipate that kids are going to back out and wait to see what happens next.
And where will you be this week, Michael?
So I'm going to 2 games on Thursday night. I got Memorial hosting Del City. We mentioned Del City earlier. I get to check out the Eagles in person on Thursday. And then Friday, I'm going to the way out east on the Arkansas border to Pensacola, where they're hosting Class A1 defending champion Rejoice Christian.
All right, look forward to next week. We'll come right back to talk some hockey. Rob Murray getting his ice holders ready to go. That's coming up right after we take this break.
Tulsa, there is nothing better than summer vibes at the ballpark with your Tulsa Drillers, sipping on a cold beer, eating a hot dog, and having a great time with family and friends. The hope of catching a home run ball or running into everyone's favorite blue bowl, Hornsby. Cool off by grabbing an ice cream or playing in the Red Diamond Splash Pad. One Oak Field has something for everyone. Tickets start at only $10. Purchase now at TulsaDrillers.com. Go all in and we'll see you at the ballpark soon.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit, so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaWhalers.com. That's TulsaWhalers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaWhalers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Whalers hockey.
Well, you ready for some hockey? Tulsa Oilers open their preseason camp on October the 6th, this coming Monday. Getting ready for a couple preseason games and getting ready to start. For Coach Rob Murray, his 9th season head coach. Coach, first, congratulations on the new contract extension. Well earned and well deserved.
Thanks, Chris. I've really, through the years being here as long as I have, and this job, any job in sports, that expectation is not very attainable at times. And I love being here. I love the fact that I've gotten very close to a lot of people, including yourself, and outside of the game itself, and we love it here, and I'm really glad to be back.
Well, before we look ahead to this 25-26 season, let's look back. This past season, 40 wins, making the playoffs, 6 games against Western Conference champion Kansas City club, setting franchise records, 22 road wins, scoring more than 240 goals, leading the East Central League in attendance, averaging over 7,500 fans a game, the downtown BOK Center. It was quite a season.
It was, and 40 wins, and it was really weird because anytime like 40 wins any other year would probably put you in first place in your division, and our division was so tight that it, if you remember, it came down the last weekend of the year to make the playoffs, and we had to win out in Allen, which we ended up doing. We got a little bit of help on the way. Idaho lost the game the night prior to our last game, so we had clinched. But it's just amazing how tight it was. But that being said, I think it made it really competitive and great hockey to be played. So a really, really good season for us. We're really looking to try to get deeper into the playoffs. I mean, it's something. It's great to make the playoffs and all, but when you don't get out of the first round 2 years in a row, it's a little disappointing. And 2 years ago, I thought that we lost 4 straight to Kansas City. They were they were loaded. I mean, it was a team that I come away from losing that series, and unfortunately 4-0, but still just knowing in my heart that we weren't nearly as good. Yeah. And then this past year, taking them to 6 games, and you can look back at a certain point in the series. I mean, we're up in game 2. We already won the first game in Kansas City. Game 2, we're up 2-1 with less than a minute to go, and we give up a late goal and lose in overtime. So things could have been different, but it definitely is a step in the right direction, and we just want to keep building on that and see if we can't get a little bit deeper into the playoffs this year.
Rob, you start with a couple of preseason games down in Texas against Allen Americans on October the 9th, then come back to host Allen Americans on Saturday, October 11th. That'll be at the Wee Street Ice Center, something different for the fans.
Well, we had one here last year, and it was very well attended. It was sold out, I guess, if you want to call it. I mean, The stands were full. In the last 2 years prior to that, we had those games at the OIC, at the Oilers Ice Center, and so I don't know that you're expecting to have a big crowd when you play exhibition games, and to go down to the BOK, it doesn't really make sense. I think it's great to have it here. And even when we go down to Allen, we play at the 9X, which is where the Texas Brahmas play, which is the North American Hockey League team. So we don't even play in their building either. It's the same, similar to the Wee Street setup. So exhibition hockey for the most part is usually played at our level. Yeah, in a smaller venue, and it's going to be perfect for exhibition game that day on that Saturday.
All right, let's look ahead now. 25-26 season. It gets open on the road in Iowa, October the 17th. Home opening series, facing Tahoe on Friday, October 24th through Sunday the 26th. That's when the real hockey starts.
Yeah, we're start on the road. We're going up to Iowa. We haven't been there in a few years. They were an expansion team 3 years ago. We went, I think, the first season, I think we went up there twice, but we haven't been back for a couple of years. They've actually come to us a couple of times, and then coming home against Tahoe Friday and Sunday of that week. It's going to be tough, or not tough, but I mean we're excited about it. I mean, getting on the road to begin with, I don't mind that. I would actually prefer it. I think that get your kind of feet wet a little bit, because whenever you're playing on the road, especially at the beginning of the year, opening night, there's so much pressure on the home team to win. And, like us being the visiting team going in on that Friday night in Iowa, I prefer being on the road to start the season. It kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off and, gets you going on the right foot.
Now you re-signed a couple of rookie forwards, Adam McMaster and Matt Cothey, tell us about the outlook of this 25-26 Oilers team.
Well, as with every year, Chris, at our level, I mean, there's such turnover, and we have guys that have either retired or gone to Europe to play, different things that have happened throughout the summertime. So you're always rebuilding your team, and Matt Cothey and Adam McMaster, two guys that played with us late in the season last year that showed promise and had a good chance to just come in and get a feel for what the ECHL is all about, and finish the season with us, and hopefully that learning curve will be a little bit shorter once they come back this year and just be able to step right in. And they are true rookies, other than they've already played some games in the ECHL, so they've got a taste of pro hockey. We've got a couple of new guys that we've signed, a couple of older guys that I think that'll be real strong additions to the team, along with the core of guys that we've had through the last couple of years that are coming back, like a guy like Tyler Polson, Doogie Legrone, Mike McKee, all these guys that have been here for years that continue to come back every year. And when you have that core, guys that you trust, guys that you have grown relationships with, friendships off the ice, and to have those guys come back, it makes my job easier when it's all said and done, but it also makes it I'm more relaxed knowing those type of guys. I'm going to have those guys back, and knowing what I'm going to get from them. I don't have to wait to see what I'm going to get from them. I know exactly what I'm going to get from them, and that's a big part.
Rob Murray, starting your 9th season as a Tulsa Oilers hockey coach. Coach, congratulations again on the contract, and look forward to some hockey this season. Thanks for joining us as always on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
All right, right back with the Oklahoma Derby right after this.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa world, is where it comes to life.
Tulsa, there is nothing better than summer vibes at the ballpark with your Tulsa Drillers, sipping on a cold beer, eating a hot dog, and having a great time with family and friends. The hope of catching a home run ball or running into everyone's favorite blue bowl, Hornsby. Cool off by grabbing an ice cream or playing in the Red Diamond Splash Pad. One Oak Field has something for everyone. Tickets start at only $10. Purchase now at tulsadrillers.com. Go all in and we'll see you at the ballpark soon.
Oklahoma Derby Day was another great event day of racing and fun at Remington Park. All of the action started at 3 p.m., including the Wine Tasting Festival and the Hat and Tie Style Contest. The $100,000 David M. Vance Sprint Stakes at 6 furlongs featured a field of 8, with Surveillance going off as the wagering favorite at 6-5 odds. Approaching the quarter pole, it's Mikkel W. showing the way up by a pair. Second ID fighting inside. Big Effect is third. Rivet fourth. Surveillance fifth. And trying to find some stretch run. Into the stretch of the Vance. It's Mikkel W. showing the way. Still there by 3. Here comes Surveillance outside. Gaining ground now. Big Effect. Rivet trying to split rivals. Final furlong. Surveillance trying to run down. Mikkel W. is very game tonight. But here comes Surveillance. And Surveillance gets the advantage in the final 100 yards. Surveillance will take the Vance by a length. Surveillance made a move for the lead midway through the turn, running down Mikkel W., then pulling away late in the stretch to win as the favorite In the Vance Sprint, paying $4.40 for the win for owners Flying P Stable of Levittown, New York. Michael Maker trains. It was his second win on the Derby Day card. Jose Ortiz was the winning jockey. It was his second win on the Oklahoma Derby Day card at Remington Park. Surveillance winning the Vance Sprint. 2-year-olds were in the spotlight in the Clever Trevor Stakes, a $150,000 event at 6.5 furlongs, a field of 9. The favorite was number 3, Fuel, at even money. Top of the stretch in the Clever Trevor. Inside, Rooster J. To the outside, that's Canned Heat. Coming on his stretch, inside Fuel. Finds a big opening path and is coming on up the rail. Race on in the Clever Trevor. Final furlong. Here comes Essential Time through traffic. Canned Heat fighting on with Fuel and Essential Time. Essential Time splits rivals and grabs the front. It's Essential Time getting the path to victory in the Clever Trevor by 1.5 lengths. Upset time in the Clever Trevor. Essential Time gets it done for trainer Danny Pish and owners Duffy's Racing Stable and Hyder Racing Stables of Frisco, Texas. This is the second consecutive year that trainer Danny Pish has won the Clever Trevor Stakes. He won in 2024 with Jolly Samurai. Aram Diego had the call on Essential Time, who paid well, $26.20 for the win. Canned Heat was a very game second. Number 5 was there, paying $16.80 to place and $6.40 to show. Third was 3, Fuel, the beaten favorite, coming in third place. Clever Trevor Stakes to Essential Time. Trainer Danny Pish wins that stakes for a second straight year. The newest stakes race on the Remington Park program is the Great West Turf Sprint, the inaugural running at $250,000. A jam-packed field of 12 battled at 5 furlongs over firm turf. Number 8, Usually Wrong, was the wagering favorite, going off at 6-5 odds. In the turn, flying up front, Jackman's Ride showing the way by a little more than length over high front with a quarter mile to go. Usually Wrong is wide, but coming on, equally inside fourth and gaining with a huge opening right there. Top of the lane in the Great West Turf Sprint. Jackman's Ride with the advantage. Here comes equally up the rail, farther out. Usually Wrong in high front. Bad Beat Brian coming through traffic, but Jackman's Ride feeling it tonight. Jackman's Ride's on top by a little more than length, out by length and change, and Jackman's Ride will win. For the second consecutive race on the Oklahoma Derby undercard, another long shot comes through. Jackman's Ride, locally owned by Wanda and Steve Doopy of Enid, Oklahoma. J.R. Caldwell trains. Renee Diaz was the pilot. $28.60 for the upset win in the Great West Turf Stakes. Eakly, number 5, was a very close second. Third, the 1, Bad Beat Brian, rolled through traffic. Long shots throughout. There was a dead heat for fourth with number 3, Dark Afternoon, winner of the Cliffberry Turf Sprint here a few weeks back. And the wagering favorite, the 8, Usually Wrong. Jackman's Ride pulling the upset in the inaugural Great West Turf Sprint. The $200,000 Remington Park Oaks at 1.16 miles was for 3-year-old fillies. A field of 6 in that one after the scratch of Fugitive Star. Number 4, Lemon Zest, was the heavy favorite at 2-5 odds. On the lead, Lemon Zest is there, but the pressure turned up some. So there she was, wants to be more of a part of it. Only a head back now, running a gun in a length back third and clear to the outside. Seraphia starts to angle out 4, 3 back. Another length then to I'm a Margarita Girl. Legal Empress angles out farther to the middle of the backstretch. Last, only 5 back with just under a half mile to go. It is Lemon Zest up front. She's been pressured a little bit by So There She Was, but has refused to give up any margin there. Now with 3 furlongs to go. Into the turn third, running and gunning. Seraphia has a room now. Legal Empress is a wide 5th, and dropping backwards, I'm a Margarita Girl. As they approach the quarter pole, inside Lemon Zest to the outside. So There She Was, asked for her best, and swinging out for run. Seraphia, top of the stretch in the Remington Park Oaks. So There She Was takes over. So There She Was grabs the front and opens up by a pair. Seraphia trying to get by Lemon Zest, who angles out, looking for one more boost inside the furlong pole. So There She Was by 2 and change. Lemon Zest and Seraphia battling for minor awards. Here it is in the Remington Park Oaks. So There She Was, and Ramon Vasquez by 3. An upset, albeit a mild one, in the Remington Park Oaks. So There She Was gets the job done. It pays $9 to win for the owners of Great Friends Stables and Mark Davis of Vista, California. Doug O'Neill, the trainer, sends this one in from Southern California. Ramon Vasquez had the winning ride at So There She Was, upsets in the Oaks, and pays $9 for the win. The heavy favorite, Lemon Zest, was second. Seraphia was in their third. Legal Empress, a distant fourth. The main event, the Grade 3, $400,000 Oklahoma Derby. Springboard Mile winner Cole Battle was a scratch. That left 7 in the gate, and the heavy favorite at 2-5 odds was number 4, Bracket Buster. They're off in the Oklahoma Derby. Take charge Tom away smartly. Likewise, Mr. Omaha. Iron Dome right there between runners. Bracket Buster advancing now. Front four as they cross the line. Mr. Omaha leads the way by a length and a half over Bracket Buster. Take charge Tom outside third. Iron Dome inside fourth. Gap of 3 then to the next trio. Colonel York, Publisher, and Hot Gunner from the outside in. There are only about 5.5 lengths between the front and back, and Mr. Omaha is the front. Midway through the turn by a length and a half over Bracket Buster. Inside Iron Dome, tracks along third, comfortable there. A neck better than Take Charge Thomas. They go to the backstretch. Inside fifth by a bobbing head, that's Hot Gunner. Publisher between runners, and then Colonel York outside, very close, and only about 5 off of it. On the backstretch, 5 panels to go. Mr. Omaha all the way up front so far under Luis Quinones. Bracket Buster with her in 3/4. Iron Dome third, keeping up with those top 2. Now a gap of 2 to Hot Gunner and Publisher. Colonel York is 6th and wide and starting to move it. Take Charge Tom is backing up. Take Charge Tom dropping out of it as they head to the far turn. Mr. Omaha is still there by a half. Bracket Buster inside Iron Dome is going to need room. Then Publisher and Colonel York moving together. Hot Gunner is 6th. Midway through the turn, Mr. Omaha still there. Bracket Buster up alongside now, a 1/4 mile to go in the Oklahoma Derby. 3 back to third, and Iron Dome, top of the stretch. Bracket Buster swings off best and grabs the lead away from Mr. Omaha. Mr. Omaha back to second, furlong to go. Iron Dome third, and then Publisher a distant fourth. Bracket Buster was just biding his time for the first part of this race, waiting for the second turn, and now pouring it on. Bracket Buster to take the Oklahoma Derby and do it easily by 4. Mr. Omaha, the Oklahoma bred, gave it a run but could not hold on to the final furlong as Bracket Buster proved to be too much. The favorite rolled down the stretch to get the victory for owners BBN Racing of Paris, Kentucky, and trainer Victoria Oliver. Luis Saez had the winning ride on Bracket Buster. He had a triple on Oklahoma Derby Day. The favorite Bracket Buster paid $2.80 for the win. Iron Dome, number 2, was second. Mr. Omaha held on for third. Publisher was fourth in the Oklahoma Derby. In 2025, it goes to Bracket Buster. Remington Park enters October with a special 4-date race week coming up, Thursday, October 2nd through Sunday, October 5th. First race nightly, 6 p.m., except for Sunday. First race on October 5 will begin at 2 p.m. Mark your calendars for the next big race night. It's Oklahoma Classics night, Friday, October 17th. The top Oklahoma breds in stakes action all night long. At Remington Park in Oklahoma City, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sports Scene.
We'll come right back with a recap and look ahead to Oklahoma-Texas football preview. Straight ahead.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park is underway with great winning action Thursday through Saturday at 6 p.m. The top Oklahoma bred runners are in the spotlight for Oklahoma Classics Night, Friday, October 17. The $1 Million Night of Stakes Racing features the best the state has to offer. The first race on Oklahoma Classics Night is 6 p.m. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations. The best racing, simulcast racing, and nonstop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Tulsa, there is nothing better than summer vibes at the ballpark with your Tulsa Drillers. Sipping on a cold beer, eating a hot dog, and having a great time with family and friends. The hope of catching a home run ball or running into everyone's favorite blue bowl, Hornsby. Cool off by grabbing an ice cream or playing in the Red Diamond Splash Pad. One Oak Field has something for everyone. Tickets start at only $10. Purchase now at TulsaDrillers.com. Go all in and we'll see you at the ballpark soon.
Be sure to join us next week. It's our preview of Oklahoma, Texas, the Red River Rivalry. It's a special guest you'll enjoy, I'm sure. Drillers President and General Manager Mike Malega is on the show to wrap up the 2025 Driller season and look ahead to 2026. Mike will, of course, be here with the Prep Red Zone recap of District Play Week number 2. All that next week, right here on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Until then, as we always tell you, be a good sport.